Hey, so what is going on, everyone? It is me, Mr. Mario, and I know I'm kind of late to the party on here, but that's gonna play a good part in this video, and I'm going to explain it here in a bit. But I want to talk about my thoughts and feelings and everything as a content creator here on YouTube over two hashtags, which are Where's the Fair Use, also known as WTFU, and Make YouTube Great Again. Now, Make YouTube Great Again was sourced from GradeAUnderA, and WTFU was sourced from the Nostalgia Critic, who is on Channel Awesome, for things that have been happening on YouTube the past few months that have just shown how broken this system is right here for handling copyright claims and punishing users and everything like that. So I'm going to talk about that a little bit for anybody that hasn't paid attention to what's going on in any other types of videos. So if this is your thing, I'd recommend you listen. If not, go ahead and move on to something else. But this is going to affect everyone, whether you're a content creator, a commenter, or a viewer, whatever you are doing. So first of all, to start this off, what is fair use and where's the fair use? Well, fair use is a law that is used and abused and kind of maliciously used here and there. It's confusing because all of this is still so new. This streamable video, online video, this has only come up, within the past few decades. It's still quite a new medium, and a lot of lawmakers and copyright holders don't know exactly how to hold on to it. But fair use itself is being able to use another person's or entity's work and being able to use it in your own work for critique purposes, educational purposes, anything like that, but using their work enough to the point where that it gets the point across, but you also have enough original content in there from yourself to create your own transformative work. So two things. One of them, right here, what I am doing is I am talking and playing over this game right here, right? I'm not playing the game live, but whatever game is on screen, that is on screen. Because of that, I'm able to make my own transformative work and create this video. Thereby, I'm able to use fair use to bring this video to you all. Now, what if somebody sees this video and they want to do a response to it, and due to that response, they want to download this video, which is weird in itself because that's, from what I know, it's already against the YouTube terms of service, but everyone does it at the same time, so I don't know how they enforce that, to be honest. I don't even think they do, but that's a whole nother thing. Point being is here, what if somebody downloads my video and they use clips of what I'm saying in portions of the audio and then respond to them in their own video? That is okay, and that clarifies as fair use because they are commentating over what I am talking about in a response form, and the content that they borrowed from me is not so much, it's not enough content to outweigh the content that they originally created, so it is still their own transformative work. Now, what if somebody downloaded this video and re-uploaded it to their channel without any type of permission from me? Well, that does not count as fair use because they have not added anything to it, and I have not given them authorization to mirror that video. So therefore, if I take it down, I am in the right on that and they are in the wrong. This is where the first problem comes in. You see, the system can be easily abused, and unfortunately, it really hurts the content creator more than the person who is submitting that copyright claim. And point being, it can be used for fake things and fraudulent things, for censorship and fraudulent things is what I'm trying to say here. First off, for censorship, let's say I create a video review of a game that I'm playing, right? And I don't give it a very good score. Like, let's say I give it a 4 out of 10. What if that developer comes by and they decide they don't like my video? Well, guess what? They can put in either a copyright claim saying that they own the audio, video, whatever it is, and they can then steal the money off of that, and that's a whole nother thing, which I'm going to try and stay off the money portion because people are kind of iffy about that, but that is a real thing here, and that is one big issue on this. Or the other thing that can happen in addition to that is they can, file a strike and say that I use their audio and video without their permission and I don't have the permissions to do that. So then I get a strike on my channel. I get that video temporarily removed or permanently removed, and I have to then fight with this copyright owner to try and get my video reinstated, all at the same time while I have limitations on my channel and limitations within the copyright system itself for filing that counterclaim. Now, some of those crippling effects mean that first off, there are 3 strikes I have on my channel, and everybody has that. That means if you have 3 strikes on your channel at the same time, your channel is terminated, it's done. But I can get temporarily suspended from my channel, I can lose monetization, I might not be able to upload any videos past 15 minutes while the strike is going on, I can't upload unlisted videos, no thumbnails. Now, it's not going to be all those things, but it can be one or far and few in between. Point is, it will cripple my channel in some way. Now, let's say I'm able to prove 100% that I own that video, everything is good to go. Well, guess what? All of this is automated as well, too. So there's actually a good chance that it might not go through properly. And in addition to that, I can then, if I try and put in that counterclaim, because it's a whole legal form and everything, if I then fail that and the copyright holder ends up winning, I can get my channel taken down from my own self-defense on that, or attempted self-defense is what I'm trying to say right there. So it sounds like a pretty messed up system, right? But what if I'm able to prove my innocence with that, and I'm able to say that I am able to create my own transformative work, and that I am able to, within my rights, use the Fair Use Act and everything to create that video review? Well, I wasted all that time and effort going through all that. I crippled my channel in the process, and at the same time, this person gets off scot-free, even if I prove to them that what they did was not good. What they were trying to do was censorship, that it wasn't within their rights. And the funny thing is, what if it's not even the copyright holder? That's another thing. It doesn't even have to be the person that owns the original rights to that video. It could be something completely different, which is then fraudulent and illegal in addition to going against the terms of service. So not only are you violating a website's terms of service, but you are also committing crimes right there. But guess what? I get punished because, again, I have to have a crippled channel, I have to lose my video, I have to go through all this time and effort, and this other person, nothing happens to them, despite what they are doing being illegal, and despite what I am doing being within my rights, if it is an okay video that can go up on the platform again. So that's where the question comes into play. Where's the fair use? Because I'm not seeing it here. Now, thankfully, I haven't had to battle anything too bad on that, but many other channels are. And to a lot of people, 30,000 subscribers, and thank you very much, I'm very close to 30,000 right now. 30,000 subscribers is a lot of subscribers. I think it is. But in the grand scheme of things, it really isn't, especially when you have other channels that are now hitting 1 million subscribers easily. But the crazy thing is, a lot of these channels that have been suffering from these things already have 6-figure subscribers, 7-figure subscribers. So many of these channels have over 1 million subscribers, or they might have 400 to 700,000 subscribers, whatever it is. Now, there are 2 channels that ended up getting some punishments and everything. What happened with that first channel I talked about with, where's the fair use? Not grade A, but where's the fair use? And I believe that's Channel Awesome. They ended up losing their monetization for 2 or 3 weeks for no explained reason. Like, nobody really explained to them why they lost their money. That was it. They just couldn't make any money for 2 or 3 weeks. And another channel, as actually I Hate Everything, who suffered from this same type of thing, his channel was actually taken down. And then he ended up causing a big ruckus online, and there was such a response that within about 12 or 24 hours, his channel was reinstated. Now, it wasn't professional at all, and it was just, hey, we're sorry we took your channel down, here you go. They didn't try and address him, they didn't try to apologize, anything like that. I mean, there was that apology, but it's a bot, so there was that. And the only reason why he got his channel back so fast is because he is such a big channel, and he has that dedicated following that was able to cause ruckus, which is excellent. And another channel that this happened to again was TeamFourStar. Now, what they do is they do a lot of dubs and all that stuff, and they try and classify themselves as parody, which I can understand. I'm not going to debate that. The problem right here is that the same thing happened to them. They ended up getting some strikes, and they got their channel terminated. They end up causing a ruckus. They got their channel back within 12 hours. All good, right? So a lot of people might be wondering what the issue is. Well, here's the thing. You have to play by YouTube's rules. And part of YouTube's rules is, as I mentioned, the 3-strike system. Now, in addition to the 3-strike system being in place, another big issue that comes into play is whenever you get a strike, you have to be notified. You have to get emailed or notified in some way that you have received a strike, so that way you have ample time to go in and rebuttal this attack right here that is probably fake or fraudulent or whatever it is, so you can iron this all out. Now, those 2 channels I mentioned, neither of them got notifications that they got strikes. It's literally their channel was okay one day and the next day it was gone. There was no warning, there was no notification of strikes, nothing like that. And even if you disagree with the point where you're saying, oh, well, maybe they were violating copyright law or anything like that, now this goes against the copyright law. We're not dealing with that. Now we're dealing with the platform not even able to follow up with its own terms of service. That is like following the rules. Like, let's say you're driving down the street, the sign says 30 miles an hour, and you're going 30 miles an hour on the dot, but you get pulled over and you get ticketed for it. It doesn't make sense, especially since that is what you're supposed to be doing. And you could say, yeah, I just followed the miles per hour, that's it. And let's say, right, because some people might try and say, well, what if you were doing something else with your car? No, I'm saying you're going the correct speed limit on the dot, you're not doing any other violations, and the officer writes you down for going 30 in a 30. That makes absolutely no sense. You are following the law, you're following the rules right there, but for some reason, even though you're playing by the rules and following them, you're still getting punished without a proper warning or anything like that. In fact, that would actually be even easier, because then you could go to a court, you could debate it, and you're going to get the warning from the officer. This one is just like, oh, nope, your channel's gone, that's it. Now, the problem is, which then this turns into making YouTube great again, is that there are quite a lot of people that do suffer from this and they don't get their channels back. And there are other people as well who go in and consistently file false claims, false strikes, everything like that, and nothing happens to them. And the defense tools that you have yourself as a content creator are not very good. I mean, a lot of people, they might say we're exaggerating, but no. For example, if you have to counter a strike, you have 250 words to prove your point. What can you do with 250 words? I can literally say more in 2 tweets on Twitter to the Twitterverse than in a legal document going to the copyright holders and going to YouTube. Do you all see how messed up that is? Now, some people might say, oh, it's not a big deal, you can just go to another video platform, anything like that. And here's the thing, YouTube is probably one of the most robust and most used video platforms out here, so that is why so many people use it, and they might even be reliant on it. But as for people saying, oh, it's not going to be that big of a deal, well, it kind of is a big deal, especially since even if you don't agree with the YouTube terms of service, if you say, oh, well, terms of service agreement, it's not that important, there's people here that are still breaking laws and not getting punished for it, while the people who are not breaking laws are getting punished for it. And that makes absolutely no sense. And if you're trying to make any sort of sense right there, I can't defend you, man. I can't. Just, no, this video is not for you. But to be honest, I'm not one of those people that is super heated about this. Am I disappointed? Yes. Do I want to see change? Yes. But I want to see change done in the right places, and I want to make sure YouTube is properly listening. And in fact, they have. Now, the CEO of YouTube was getting spammed on Twitter and all sorts of social media with Make YouTube Great Again, WTFU, and they have seen, because what ended up happening was some people might ask, why should you do this? Why should you spread around these hashtags, anything like that? Years ago, with the whole Google Plus integration, where they pretty much broke the comment section for a few days when they integrated Google Plus, what happened was there was such an outcry that YouTube and Google actually had to come out and acknowledge it. Now, granted, they came out and said, yeah, we're working on it right now. It's not going away. It wasn't really the response we wanted, but the point is we did get a response from a company that is mostly silent when it comes to their PR terms and tactics and teams. Now, what ended up happening about 2 years later was they ended up reverting that, and they said, hey, listen, if you want to use Google Plus, that's totally fine, but if you don't want to use Google Plus, you don't have to have a Google Plus account anymore, and you can actually remove your Google Plus account from your YouTube account. You can split them. You don't have to use it anymore like you have been for the past few years. And that was awesome. Granted, it took about 2 years to get this all done, but it still happened, and that is what people wanted. Now, do I think this is going to get fixed overnight? Absolutely not. Do I think it's going to get fixed soon? Probably not, but it is for a few reasons. One, YouTube is a big company, and as a company gets bigger, it is harder for them to change. Not just YouTube, it's any other company. Number two, they are dealing with copyright stuff right here, which is really walking on eggshells, so they have to be very careful with what they are doing and modifying and changing up with the rules and regulations and services. But it sounds like I'm also trying to defend YouTube right here, and I'm really not. I'm just trying to kind of play a middleman right here and look at it from both sides. But I'm also a believer in, after you do the same thing for so long, something is going to get corrupted. That's why, for example, when it comes to operating systems, that's why we have so many operating systems available. There's Windows 7, like some of the newer Windows versions. There's Windows 7, there's Windows 8.1, and there's Windows 10. Now, can you still use Windows 7? Absolutely. Does it work? For most things, yes, it still works. But with the ever-changing world and infrastructure around it, you're going to need a better operating system that will take advantage of new hardware and new things that are coming out that Windows 7 will not be able to do natively and right off the bat. So therefore, that is why there are new operating system updates that come out. That is why there are new software updates that come out for any of your favorite software that you use. Not only it's for security reasons, but just to optimize things a bit more. And that's why there's so many coding languages as well too, because you realize after so many years of using one language that you've kind of tapped it out, and there's better ways you can do things, so you create another language, and that becomes the norm. And I feel like that's what needs to happen with YouTube right here. Their copyright system, they put it in place because they had to, because in case anyone doesn't know, before Google took over, and even right as Google was taking over and when they started owning YouTube, there was so much pirated, copyrighted material that was floating around on here for free. And the main problem with that was they weren't doing anything to remove it. Now, granted, if you were a company, you go in there and you could flag everything if you wanted to, but the companies don't want to do anything like that. And this is going back a while. Now, a lot of my viewers, you might be a little too young for this, but in 1999-2000, there was a peer-to-peer music service called Napster. And it was one of the first things of its kind because it was the first way where you could get free MP3s easily and at the best speed you could, which was like dial-up for most people. Now, the issue with Napster itself was that it was based in the US. Now, the company did not host any pirated material, but the issue was they weren't really doing anything to stop the flow of pirated material from going over this network and using their program to find this pirated material. So that is why they were getting sued into oblivion, and that was happening with YouTube as well. Essentially, Viacom was kind of kicking their ass and saying, hey, dude, all of our TV shows are on your website and you're not doing a damn thing to get rid of them. You need to get rid of them. That is why the Content ID system came into place on YouTube. Is it perfect? Absolutely not. And is it abused? Yes, it is. There's actually been multiple times where I've not gotten strikes, but I have gotten Content ID matches where people claim, another company claims my audio or visuals or anything like that and then can make money off it. Now, here's another thing, right? This is the only other time I'm going to mention money. Let's say, for example, and this really did happen, I had some BioShock Infinite videos, and when I uploaded it, some company that was not even affiliated with the publishers or developers of BioShock Infinite, or even Microsoft or anyone like that, ended up claiming that video. I looked up that company, found out they had nothing to do with the video, so then I put in a counterclaim on that, saying that no, you guys do not own this video, you guys are not making money off that, and they ended up releasing their claim. Now, sometimes this happens on accident because there's bots and everything, but a lot of times this can also happen on purpose too. And what will happen is then if you do that counterclaim and you prove to that company that you own everything on there or you are within your rights to use everything, guess what will happen? They can either let the claim go, so after 30 days it gets released and then you're able to get your video back, or that company can then counter that, or they can release it themselves. But what a lot of companies do is they don't release it, so therefore you have to wait the 30 days for it to expire, and then you get your money back and you get the claim removed. But all of that money, even though you proved to yourself, you proved and everything that you owned the video and they did not respond, that company gets all the money. And one thing that needs to be done right there for that just itself is Google and YouTube need to hold that money in escrow. Because what if that is a legitimate thing going on? What will happen is as soon as that video is claimed, stop the money flow on it. Any money that is made on that video should go to Google and YouTube, and they hold it into an account temporarily until it is all cooled off. And then once that claim is released, or if it stays in place and it is proved, then it goes to the rightful owner. And I don't know why that was never put in place. But again, copyright stuff, money issues, you have to tread lightly there. What I'm trying to say is everything needs a big update, and it's needing to happen soon because it's gotten really bad within the past 2 months or so, and it's getting kind of scary to be a content creator as well. Now, if you're just a commenter or viewer, you don't upload anything, you might be asking, what does this have to do with me? Well, I mean, you're not going to get punished directly, but this means that several of your favorite channels, in fact, pretty much all of them, are at risk for getting removed. Aside from the top echelon of channels, which is like the top 1% of channels, and probably Vivo-related channels. So they're going to be fine. Like PewDiePie, he's not going anywhere. His channel's been whitelisted and everything, but there's people who they're losing entire channels, they're losing their livelihood, but even if they're not making any money, the point is they should not be losing their channels off stuff that not only violates the terms of service, but also violates several laws. That's all I have to say. I want to add my fuel to the fire on this because this is something that I am passionate about. I do feel like needs to change. And from what I've seen, the CEO of YouTube knows what's going on, and she said that she's listening, but I mean, actions speak louder than words. That's all I'll say. And right now, all she's given us is words. Granted, they're nice words, but I'm not seeing any actions yet. But because YouTube's such a big company, it's going to be a lot harder to get some actions from them. Anyways, this is Mr. Mario signing off. Thank you all for watching, everyone. Let me know what you all thought of this.